Anxiety reactions can be overwhelming and devastating, but there truly is a natural path past this condition for all. There is a permanent cure. Full recovery is not difficult and it's available for anyone who's interested. Problems arise when this condition is viewed as an illness, which it definitely is not. This is a learned behavior which rapidly responds to behavioral skills and correct diet and nutrition. This is where our anxiety neutralizing diet comes in. By changing your food choices, you will maintain greater control over the way you feel and react. With this one diet, you will diffuse all phases of the anxiety condition and stabilize both the mind and body. This diet, when followed on a daily basis, provides you with a complete sense of well-being. The struggle is over. What one might think of as a healthy diet is not always the same as a diet geared towards the anxiety condition. A sensitized body is a reactive body. Certain stimuli might not create heightened sensitivity to some, but it may overwhelm someone else who's struggling with anxiety. Stimulating substances are often experienced in heightened terms to someone who is struggling with anxiety. Therefore, although your brother or aunt or sister may enjoy a strong cup of coffee, it would not supply you with the same gratification. In fact, you're probably sensitive to most caffeinated foods, chocolates, excessive sweets, refined foods, certain stimulating medications, nicotine, and alcohol. It's exciting that foods can work for you or against you, and your choices determine which path you wish to take. For instance, if you're in need of extra energy in the mornings, you would eat lean proteins such as eggs, turkey bacon, or Canadian bacon on whole grain. Even oatmeal with fresh milk accompanied by natural peanut butter on a whole grain bread is preferable to heavy carbohydrates such as pancakes, waffles, or refined processed cereals with sugar. If, on the other hand, it's the end of the day and you're trying to wind down and relax, you might select a dinner with light protein, such as poultry or fish, and a pasta dish on the side is even more relaxing and will settle you down for the evening. Keep your body cool in warm weather and hydrated even in the dry winter months when you have the heat on by drinking plenty of fresh, pure water. Many people don't realize this, but hydration wards off anxiety since the body doesn't have to work as hard to remain cool. Yes, you have the ability to select the way you wish to feel, and your foods will work towards that goal. Therefore, it's best to understand how foods affect your particular moods and to gear your life around foods and substances that add to your sense of health, wellness, and peace of mind. A healthy mind-body connection is the goal, regardless of one's situation. The anxiety condition frequently drains the body of this sense of peace and calm. There's a logical explanation for this occurrence. When we're stressed by excessive worry, anxiety, strenuous dieting, excessive workouts, arguments, relationship difficulties, and illness, the body's supply of serotonin begins to diminish. Serotonin is the chemical produced by the brain which provides us with a sense of calm and well-being. And you will learn how to use foods to maintain healthy levels of serotonin in the brain naturally. Melatonin levels are also important to maintain for healthful sleep and a refreshed mind, and they also diminish when you're stressed. And we'll show you ways to remedy this as well. First of all, it's important to realize that adrenaline is taxed when you are stressed, tense, and worried all the time. And this might leave you feeling exhausted and sometimes flat. Energy levels may falter and joy is hard to come by. At this point in time, many complain about fatigue, a mind less resilient, inability to concentrate, and a loss of interest. Many question their capabilities and feel mildly depressed, and they wonder what happened to the person they used to be, wishing and hoping to reclaim their old self again. They may even crave sweets, but the more they eat, the worse they feel. The interesting part about all this is that the body is ready, willing, and able to recover. But worry takes over and becomes a major barrier. Again, a case of fear, adrenaline, fear, the cycle that perpetuates anxiety. The weakness and overall lowered energy convinces the person that they must be ill. And yet, test after test shows no illness. It's no wonder frustration sets in when the individual is sure someone missed something, and it will surely surface any day now. I struggled with this type of anxiety and fatigue, this loss of energy, and this flat, frustrated view of life. My anxiety had depleted most of my body's resources, leaving me feeling anxious and fatigued all the time. The strangest part of this was I was exhausted, yet I couldn't sleep. The crashing fatigue frustrated me. The lack of appetite terrified me. In my family, a healthy person was defined by someone who had a good appetite and slept well. I had neither. I was so tired all day long, and yet when I would get into bed at night, I was wide awake and nothing would allow me to fall asleep. It was so frustrating. Little did I know this is how anxious fatigue affects the body. I lost weight I couldn't afford to lose, and I worried myself into a real state. I finally took it upon myself, as prescriptions only made me feel worse, to begin changing things naturally. I changed my diet, and I learned through research and investigation how to boost my serotonin levels naturally and build myself up with a deliberate health and wellness regimen. This was one of the greatest discoveries of my life, and I still live by these laws of natural health. Just sitting here and thinking about this exhilarates me to realize how much control one has over their life naturally, and I'd love to share my regimen with you. I began my day by rising immediately as I awakened. No more lying in bed and reliving the reactions of yesterday. I had had it with anxiety. I washed and dressed, ate a breakfast of light protein, an egg or two, Canadian bacon, maybe a slice of whole grain toast. Chamomile tea was my morning beverage of choice. I slowly but surely eliminated caffeine from my diet completely, and I recommend this highly. The trick is to go slowly to eliminate caffeine, which is a stimulant. My morning meal was followed by a power walk, as I referred to it. No matter what the weather, no matter what the conditions, if it was cold out, I bundled up. If it was warm, I dressed in cool cotton clothing. If it was raining, I wore a hood. And if it was snowing, I put on my boots and loved every minute of it. I began to look forward to this time of day. What began as a health plan ended up to be a rewarding experience. It was my time alone, and I enjoyed it so much that I increased these walks to one in the morning and another in the late afternoon or early evening. I breathed deeply. I felt the fresh air in my lungs. I felt the ground under my feet, and I began to feel stronger as the days wore on. By the third day, I noticed I was hungry by lunchtime. I was elated to notice my appetite returned. I was hungry and wolfed down a hearty lunch. I made sure I only ate wholesome foods. I never became a vegetarian, but I ate well and only fresh and whole foods. I learned to shop the peripheral, the outer edge of the supermarket, where all the fresh foods were. Dairy, vegetables, produce, poultry, whole grain baked goods. The center aisles, I learned, were reserved for the refined and processed foods, which I learned to avoid like the plague. I wanted to feel well, energized but not anxious, calm yet not zoned out. I noticed that I began to regain my strength, and I had just begun. I had an appetite back. I could sleep at night. My anxiety was lower. I also noticed I was not as fuzzy and tired in the morning. Where I'd been woozy and fatigued until after lunch, I was now beginning to feel a rise in energy earlier in the day. Each day this energy rose until I woke up feeling alert and eager to start my day. It was a miracle. I made sure I had protein for every lunch. For lunch, I would have a Caesar salad or fresh lean turkey on whole grain bread and a vegetable soup. I only drank decaffeinated beverages or pure water. My snacks were also proteins and complex carbohydrates. These snacks consisted of nuts, cheeses, celery, carrots, whole grain crackers, dips, yogurt, fresh fruit, and often a whole grain cereal such as oatmeal with fresh fruit, and a side of cottage cheese to balance it out with protein. I watched my glycemic index, which lists the sugar content in foods. I centered upon the foods that had the lowest sugar content on that list. I found that cantaloupe, blueberries, and strawberries were good standbys for my snacks, along with a few seeds, nuts, or cheese for the extra protein. I never ate a carbohydrate alone without a protein. This kept my blood sugar levels stabilized. I noticed my interest in life began to return. I was able to concentrate, read books, watch movies, and interact with others without feeling weak or anxious. I also learned to stop skipping meals even if I wasn't hungry. I even began to eat breakfast. It's important to maintain balanced blood sugar levels, and I learned that quickly. Anxiety had played havoc with my metabolism, and I was learning to regain a slower and less reactive body. I would eat every 3 to 4 hours in the beginning, protein and complex carbohydrates, and this helped me remain calm. This has a logical explanation as well. When you skip meals, adrenaline kicks in to compensate for the missed energy your foods normally provide. Adrenaline may provide the supplemental energy, but it also leaves one feeling anxious and very shaky sometimes. And I was not about to risk these type of sensations when I was doing so well. I was on a quest for natural good health, and extra adrenaline was not on my program. I also discovered one of the greatest tools of all. I learned how to boost serotonin levels in my body, providing my body naturally with a chemical the brain produces to create a sense of peace, calm, and well-being. Yes, many antidepressants hold serotonin in the brain, but they don't produce serotonin. This is why many who take these medications still don't feel very well. If they're not eating properly and their body is not producing serotonin, there's nothing to hang on to in the brain by taking these medications. This doesn't mean you should stop taking your medication if you are taking them. Never stop taking any medication cold turkey, but learn to eat properly and give your body a chance to recharge naturally. I learned how to raise serotonin levels, and by doing so, I began to change the way I felt, reacted, and lived my life. The mind-body connection is so closely linked, and this proved itself loud and clear. My insomnia and sense of well-being was contingent upon this simple plan. I settled down after a healthful dinner of lean protein, healthful vegetables, a delicious salad, followed by fresh fruit and a decaffeinated beverage. This dinner often consisted of chicken or fish, yams or sweet potatoes, which provide you with fiber, a green or yellow vegetable, a salad with lemon and olive oil, which was often followed by fresh fruit and chamomile tea. I made sure the lights were lowered as the evening wore on. I learned this boosts melatonin levels, which aid in making you relaxed and drowsy. Remember, if you go to the bathroom during the night, the brighter the lights, the lower the melatonin production, which makes it more difficult to fall back to sleep. Very bright light turns off melatonin production altogether. This is why I recommend a nightlight. Boosting serotonin relies upon ingesting lean protein all day long. Aim for protein, meat, fish, nuts, or dairy with every meal or snack. This provides your body with the proper amino acids for serotonin release later on in the evening. Use foods high in tryptophan. We will be providing you with a chart. And stick with complex carbohydrates rather than refined or processed ones. Then, 1 hour before bedtime, have a complex carbohydrate, preferably a whole grain one, alone without protein, no milk. This carbohydrate will pass through the blood-brain barrier and produce serotonin in the brain. You will begin to feel relaxed, calm, drowsy, ready for sleep, and the upshot of this is that your dreams will actually improve. Yes, sweet dreams, and you'll wake up and experience a stronger sense of well-being. This is the natural antidepressant. This is the way you'll be able to take full control of your life again and feel your very best. No medications, no dependency, no addictions, and no withdrawals. This is the true natural path to wellness. Other natural serotonin boosters include moderate exercise, repetitive motion, such as knitting, crocheting, exercise, motion, sunlight, music, good memories, positive interactions, and a satisfying life. And the weather plays a part too. No matter what the weather, being outdoors is always preferable than indoors. Even on inclement days, the sky is always brighter than indoor light. Make it your preference to take in moderate exercise outdoors on a daily basis. We have included the anxiety neutralizing diet menu with this program. It will provide you with everything you've always wanted to know about feeling your best and using whole foods to do so. There is a natural answer to obliterating anxiety. Through coping skills, the anxiety neutralizing diet and menu, and a natural approach, you too will tap into your natural inner strength and your life will improve as you do so. To this day, I follow this regimen. I use the anxiety neutralizing diet and love the results. I have never regretted it. The days I miss my exercise or deviate from the diet, I absolutely feel the difference. But I've learned you're always one meal away from feeling your best. Have a wonderful week. We have included the anxiety relief diet with this program. It will provide you with everything you've always wanted to know about feeling your best and using whole foods to do so. There is a natural answer to obliterating anxiety. Through coping skills, diet, nutrition, and a natural approach, you too will tap into your natural inner strength and your life will improve as you do so. To this day, I follow this regimen. I've never regretted it. The days I miss my exercise or deviate from a whole food plan, I absolutely feel the difference. It never crosses over into anxiety anymore, but I feel an underlying irritability. And who needs that? Not when there's a simple plan that's easy to follow and all natural. I've absolutely learned you are always one meal away from feeling your best. Have a wonderful week.